There's a hidden switch inside the human body that decides whether muscle grows or disappears after 60. This switch doesn't care about age. It doesn't care how strong someone used to be. It responds only to specific signals sent through daily habits. And right now, millions of older adults are accidentally flipping this switch in the wrong direction every single day. The result? Weaker legs, thinner arms, slower movement, and a body that feels like it's giving up. But here's what almost no one talks about. That switch can be flipped back. The habits that protect and build muscle after 60 are not what the fitness industry sells. They're not about intense workouts or expensive supplements. They're about understanding what actually happens inside muscle cells when the body ages, and why certain simple actions send powerful growth signals while others trigger rapid breakdown. Right now, someone's legs are getting weaker not because of their birthday, but because of a habit they repeat every morning. Another person is quietly rebuilding strength because of a 15-minute pattern they don't even think about. The difference between these two outcomes comes down to knowledge, and once that knowledge is clear, everything changes. In this video, the real science behind muscle after 60 will be explained in plain language. What actually happens inside muscle cells when the body crosses into its sixth decade. Why common beliefs about aging and strength are dangerously wrong. The specific daily habits that send growth signals to muscle tissue even in older bodies. The mistakes that accelerate muscle loss without anyone noticing, and the simple fixes that can reverse weakness, improve balance, protect independence, and help someone feel strong again. Stay until the end, because the final habit is the one that almost everyone misses, and it might be the most powerful of all. Let's start with what's actually happening inside the body. Muscle tissue is alive. It's constantly being broken down and rebuilt every single day, no matter the age. The body has two processes running at the same time. One is called muscle protein breakdown, where old or damaged muscle fibers are taken apart. The other is called muscle protein synthesis, where new muscle fibers are built. In younger bodies, these two processes stay balanced, or synthesis happens a little faster, so muscle stays stable or grows. But after 60, something shifts. The breakdown process stays the same, but the synthesis process slows down. This doesn't mean the body can't build muscle anymore. It means the body needs a stronger signal to start building, and this is where the habits come in. The first habit that decides muscle after 60 is how much someone moves throughout the entire day, not just during exercise. Here's the confusion. Many older adults believe that a 30-minute walk or a gym session is enough and the rest of the day can be spent sitting. But muscle tissue responds to total daily movement. When someone sits for hours without moving, the muscles enter a state called disuse atrophy. Blood flow slows down. Nutrients stop reaching muscle cells. The body interprets stillness as a signal that those muscles aren't needed, so it starts breaking them down to save energy. This happens silently. There's no pain, no warning, just gradual weakening over weeks and months. The legs get a little shakier. Getting up from a chair takes more effort. Balance feels off. These aren't signs of aging. These are signs of prolonged stillness. The fix is simple, but requires consistency. Every hour, stand up and move for 2 to 3 minutes. Walk to another room. Do a few knee lifts. Stretch the arms overhead. These tiny movement breaks send a signal to the muscle cells that they're still needed. Blood flow increases. Nutrients get delivered. The breakdown process slows down. Over time, this habit alone can prevent significant muscle loss. But movement is only half the story. The body also needs the right building blocks, and this brings up the second habit. Protein intake. Here's where the mistake happens. Many older adults eat the same amount of protein they've always eaten, not realizing that after 60, the body becomes less efficient at using it. This is called anabolic resistance. The muscle cells don't respond as strongly to small amounts of protein. They need a bigger dose to trigger the muscle-building process. Research shows that after 60, each meal should contain at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. But here's what commonly happens instead. Breakfast might be toast and coffee, maybe 5 grams of protein. Lunch might be a salad with a little chicken, around 15 grams. Dinner might have a decent portion of protein, maybe 30 grams. The total for the day might look okay, but the distribution is wrong. The body can't store protein and use it later. It needs enough at each meal to flip that muscle-building switch. When protein is too low at breakfast and lunch, those are missed opportunities. The body stays in breakdown mode for most of the day, and muscle slowly disappears. The fix is to spread protein evenly across all meals. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish, chicken, beans, lentils, or a protein shake. Each meal should have a palm-sized portion of protein. This keeps muscle protein synthesis activated throughout the day and gives the body what it needs to rebuild. Now here's where it gets interesting. Even with movement and protein, there's a third habit that most people completely overlook: resistance. Muscle tissue needs to be challenged. Walking is excellent for health, for the heart, for the joints, for the brain, but walking alone doesn't send a strong enough signal to build muscle. The muscle fibers need resistance, which means they need to push or pull against something heavier than usual. This doesn't mean lifting heavy weights in a gym. It can be as simple as standing up from a chair without using the hands, holding light dumbbells while doing shoulder presses, using resistance bands, carrying grocery bags, doing wall push-ups, climbing stairs. The key is that the muscle has to work harder than it's used to. When that happens, tiny microtears form in the muscle fibers. This sounds bad, but it's actually the trigger. The body detects these microtears and responds by sending repair signals. New proteins are delivered. The muscle fibers rebuild thicker and stronger. This process is called hypertrophy, and it works at any age. Studies have shown that people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build muscle when they do resistance activities 2 to 3 times per week. The mistake is thinking that the body is too old or too fragile. The truth is that the body is waiting for the signal, and resistance is how that signal is sent. But the real surprise comes next. Sleep. This is the habit that almost no one connects to muscle, but it might be the most critical one. Muscle repair and growth happen primarily during deep sleep. When someone falls asleep, the body shifts into recovery mode. Growth hormone is released, inflammation decreases, damaged muscle fibers are repaired, blood flow increases to tissues that need healing. All of this happens during the night, but after 60, sleep quality often declines. People wake up more often, deep sleep becomes shorter, and when sleep is poor, muscle protein synthesis drops significantly. Even with good protein intake and resistance training, the muscle can't fully recover. The body stays in a low-level state of breakdown. Weakness continues. The fix starts with sleep hygiene. Going to bed at the same time every night, keeping the bedroom cool and dark, avoiding screens an hour before bed, limiting caffeine after noon. These small adjustments help the body enter deeper sleep stages, and that's where muscle recovery happens. For someone serious about maintaining or building muscle after 60, 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is non-negotiable. This is where most people make the mistake. They focus on what they're doing during the day, but ignore what's happening at night. The body doesn't build muscle during the workout, it builds muscle during rest. Without proper sleep, all the effort put into movement, protein, and resistance gets wasted. The muscle-building switch stays off. Now let's talk about something that sabotages muscle without anyone realizing it. Chronic inflammation. After 60, the body tends to develop what scientists call inflammaging, which is low-grade inflammation that lingers in the background. This inflammation comes from several sources: poor diet, lack of movement, stress, excess body fat, processed foods, high sugar intake. This constant state of inflammation sends signals to the muscles that trigger breakdown instead of growth. The immune system starts attacking muscle tissue as if it's a threat. Over time, this leads to a condition called sarcopenia, which is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. But here's the truth. Sarcopenia isn't caused by age. It's caused by inflammation, inactivity, and poor nutrition. The body is simply responding to the environment it's in. The fix is to lower inflammation through simple dietary changes. Eating more anti-inflammatory foods like fatty fish, leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive oil, and turmeric. Reducing processed foods, sugary snacks, and excess alcohol. Drinking plenty of water. These changes reduce the inflammatory signals and allow the muscles to respond to growth signals again. Within weeks, energy improves, stiffness decreases, strength starts coming back. And this is the part almost nobody talks about: hydration. Muscle tissue is about 75% water. When the body is even slightly dehydrated, muscle cells shrink. They become less efficient. Protein synthesis slows down. Strength decreases. Recovery takes longer. After 60, the sense of thirst often weakens. So many older adults walk around mildly dehydrated without knowing it. They feel tired. Their muscles feel weak, their joints ache, and they assume it's just aging. But sometimes, it's just water. The fix is to drink water consistently throughout the day. Not all at once, but in small amounts. A glass in the morning, a glass mid-morning, another with each meal. One in the afternoon, one in the evening. This keeps muscle cells hydrated, supports nutrient delivery, and improves overall muscle function. It's one of the simplest habits, but also one of the most overlooked. Now here's why this matters more after 50. Muscle isn't just about strength or appearance. Muscle is metabolic tissue. It burns calories even at rest. It helps control blood sugar by pulling glucose out of the bloodstream and storing it as energy. It supports bone density by putting pressure on the bones during movement. It protects joints by stabilizing them during activity. It improves balance and prevents falls. It supports independence by making daily tasks easier. It even affects mood and brain health because muscle produces proteins called myokines that communicate with the brain and reduce depression. When muscle is lost, all of these systems start to decline. Blood sugar rises, bones weaken, falls become more common, energy drops, independence fades. This is why maintaining muscle after 60 isn't about vanity. It's about protecting the entire body and preserving quality of life. But before going further, there's one myth that needs to be addressed. Many people believe that cardio is the best exercise for health after 60. Walking, jogging, cycling, swimming. These are all excellent for the heart, the lungs, and endurance. But cardio alone does not build muscle. In fact, too much cardio without resistance training can actually accelerate muscle loss, especially in older adults. Here's what actually happens. During long cardio sessions, the body needs energy. It burns through stored carbohydrates first, then fat, but if the session goes long enough and protein intake is low, the body starts breaking down muscle tissue for fuel. This is called gluconeogenesis. The body converts muscle protein into glucose to keep going. Over time, excessive cardio without adequate protein and resistance work leads to a leaner but weaker body. The legs might look thinner. The arms might lose shape. Strength declines. The truth is that a combination works best. Moderate cardio for heart health, plus resistance training for muscle, plus adequate protein and rest. Balance is the key. Now comes the big mistake that almost everyone makes: skipping meals or eating too little in an attempt to lose weight. After 60, many people notice extra belly fat or weight gain and decide to cut calories drastically. They skip breakfast, they eat tiny portions, they avoid protein because they think it's too heavy. But here's the problem. When calorie intake drops too low, the body goes into survival mode. It slows down metabolism, it holds onto fat, and it breaks down muscle for energy because muscle is expensive to maintain. The body sacrifices muscle to conserve energy. This leads to a condition called sarcopenic obesity, where someone loses muscle but gains fat. The scale might stay the same or even go down, but the body composition gets worse. Weakness increases. Metabolism slows further. Belly fat becomes harder to lose. This creates a downward spiral. The fix is not to eat less, but to eat better. Focus on nutrient-dense whole foods. Prioritize protein at every meal. Include healthy fats like avocado, nuts, and olive oil. Add vegetables for fiber and micronutrients. Eat enough to support muscle maintenance and daily activity. Extreme calorie restriction after 60 does more harm than good. And now the bonus tip that ties everything together. Timing matters. The body is most responsive to muscle-building signals right after resistance activity. This is called the anabolic window. Within 30 to 60 minutes after doing resistance exercises, the muscles are primed to absorb protein and start rebuilding. Having a protein-rich snack or meal during this time maximizes the muscle-building response. It could be a protein shake, a serving of Greek yogurt, eggs, or cottage cheese. This simple habit accelerates recovery and helps the body rebuild faster. It's a small adjustment that makes a noticeable difference over time. Here's the bottom line. Muscle after 60 is not determined by age. It's determined by daily habits, movement throughout the day, adequate protein at every meal, resistance training 2 to 3 times per week, 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, lower inflammation through better food choices, consistent hydration, avoiding extreme calorie restriction. These habits send powerful signals to the muscle cells that tell them to grow, to stay strong, to keep functioning. The body listens. It responds. It rebuilds. Weakness is not inevitable. Muscle loss is not a natural part of aging. It's a response to the wrong signals. And when the signals change, the body changes too. Strength can come back, balance improves, independence is protected, daily tasks become easier, energy returns, the future looks different. So here's the question. How many days per week are resistance activities currently part of the routine? Drop the answer in the comments. And if this video helped explain what's really happening inside the body after 60, hit the like button, subscribe for more science-based health content, and watch the next video on how to fix joint pain naturally without medication. That one is essential.